average NBA career was like 4.5 years, roughly. Okay. So if you play 4.5 years, that means you're not getting to a real second contract. You're likely making 750, 1.2, 1.5. Maybe you get an exception, 2.9. Okay. So you've made $8 million over 4.5 years. Let's call it you've made $10 million over 5 years. You've got $5 million to spend. You're in the NBA. You're going to get a nice car. You're probably going to buy a nice house, but you're going to take care of your parents. Before you spend another dollar, you're like, you got to pay your agent. How is that supposed to last you the rest of your life? There were guys that I played with, I felt at the time, oh, you played 10 years and you made $35 million. Do the math on that. My financial advisor told me that from day one. It's all about spending. It's not all about the intake. It's out the outtake too. Now, the reason I say it's just not going to happen as much now is, have you fucking seen these contracts?
I used to think athletes were set for life for having these kind of jobs, but it seems that now I understand why players be balling until they're 40 years old, because, you know, them bills gonna keep coming. And if they don't got another skill set after, you know, playing basketball or football, they're pretty much toast.
You're getting paid 52 weeks out of the year. In the NFL, it's different. You're only getting paid 17 weeks. The rookie minimum is $450,000 a year. Instead of getting paid that divided by 52, that divided by 17, it's $26,000. So now you're giving a 23-year-old $26,000 week one. Cool. So if I got $26,000, I can spend 10 and be all right. So spend $10,000 week one. Week two, get 26, spend 10. Week three, get 26, spend 10. And then the off season starts, January 1st. Spend 10, make 0. January 7th, spend 10, make 0. January 14th, same exact thing. But now on top of that, they're home with their friends. So now, gotta go out, I gotta pay the tab, right? Gotta impress all your friends, gotta take them out to different vacations, to Miami, take them to Las Vegas. Gotta get the private jet because we're too good to actually fly on planes. And quickly the money.
When you're in the NBA, you get a paycheck every 2 weeks, just like most people get paychecks. Let's say his paycheck after taxes every couple weeks is $500,000. If they win 5 games in a row and he averages 35 points a game, how much does he get?
Same money.
$500,000. If they lose 5 games in a row and he's a bum every single game, how much does he get?
$500,000.
You start to disconnect the money that's coming in and with the work that's being done to make the money.
Career I've had, I've never made $10 million a year.
Wait, you didn't?
Never. I've yet to make double digits.
What?
So it doesn't even matter how much you ball out. For example, Luka, they traded that guy just because they were trying to give him a cut. You know, they didn't even want to pay him what he's worth, even though he was performing. So that's you know, they don't even care about you performing at this point. They just care about business. Like, are they profiting?
And you the 6th best player in the league?
Shit kind of crazy, right?
That's crazy.
So, you know, it's easy to lose. It's easy to lose your love for this shit because it's business.
Right, because right now...
I'm going to show you a real NFL contract and how it works. He gets a $9.9 million signing bonus. And he gets $750,000, which is the league minimum. $10.7 million he's getting, but now he got to pay Uncle Sam. Federal taxes are $4 million. Then state taxes in Michigan are almost $700,000. And then he's got to pay something called the jock tax. Anybody know what that is? If you're an NFL player, pro athlete, whatever, you have to pay taxes in every single state you play. So you play for the Dallas Cowboys that has no state income tax, great. Like Will Levis plays in Nashville, right? Tennessee has no state tax, that number's 0. But then, when you go play in California, guess what happens? You pay tax in that state. You've gone from $10.7 to $5.8 million. So half your money is going and you have not spent a dollar. And guess who doesn't know that? The people asking you for money. All they see is in the paper, you're getting $10.7 million. I saw the NIL deal, you're getting $300,000. Give me some of that. Give me $100,000. You got $200,000 left. And if you don't know no better, yeah, okay, cool. All right, yeah, I got you, mom. You know, you raised me. Here's $100,000. I got $200,000 left. Uncle Sam goes, all right, but I need $150,000 of that. So you only have $150,000. You gave 9% of your money to your mom. So you didn't know. It's about putting a plan in place. If you know this going in, you can do everything you want to do if you plan. If you don't, you're playing catch up. We can simplify all this stuff. That's our goal. Everybody has different responsibilities. Our goal is to make sure whatever yours are, we help you navigate it.
My biggest financial flex, I don't want to say this because I can't say that.
I don't drink water at the sink. What kind of water you drink? Sparkling. Even during the game, sparkling water with lemon.
Financial flex, my mama a crib, house paid for. My dad a house paid for. Getting both of them a house, my biggest flex. My biggest financial flex, I could buy Wingettes whenever I want.
It's like flats or drums?
Yes, flats. I'm buying flats from the store every time. Ashley, tell them about that Ferrari. That Lambo. I seen you pull up in that too, though. You can't hide money, though.
You play in the NFL as well?
Nah, no. I'm a glamour, bro.
None of my jewelry, none of my cars, none of that. It's my stock portfolio, bro. And I ain't gonna tell y'all what it is, but it looking good, you know what I mean?
That guy's 22 making $200 million.
Why he not gonna want to put out his stock plays? People do it all the time for free.
4 or 5 years. I got several of those guys, right? But the reality of it is, I'm constantly telling them that's not a lot of money based upon where you're starting, because you're starting from zero, right? So how do we understand how to compound that? Because they're done at 33. Everyone's not going to play to their 40. They're done when they're 33. That money's taxed. You know, they're paying a 55, 51% tax. Not to mention, jeans today, the ones they want that they're buying in excess, which they probably don't really need that, cost $2,000. It's not the same. His jeans cost $25. There's a difference. And so it's all relative. No athlete can afford to fly private all the time. Yet we see so many athletes on their Instagram flying private. I fly Delta. I cannot afford to fly private. And that's okay with me. You know what? And I'll sit in the Comfort Plus.
I'm sure LeBron be buying his own jets, though, so he can ride in his personal time.
Well,
Comfort Plus?
Yeah, because I'm just trying to get where I'm trying to go to make the money. I'm not trying to spend the money, you know. I'm trying to get there, you know.
My first big check, I took it and purchased a home for my mom. I'm the oldest of 6, so it's 4 boys, 2 girls. I have 2 daughters of my own. I got family and friends who I'm very close with that grew up with me. So I usually ran with about 8 to 9 guys that kind of grew up in the same neighborhood and things with me. So I actually wanted them to see the same lifestyle that I was enjoying. I had a car fetish when I was very young. I had 5 or 6 different cars, but I had the most expensive cars: Bentleys, Maybachs, Mercedes-Benz, so a lot of high-end things. I was into designer watches, Rolexes, timeless pieces.
But you also paid for things for friends, didn't you? You went places, you went to Vegas.
Well, we went on lavish trips. I mean, we would go on vacation together. We would go to Cancun, we would go to Puerto Rico, we would go, different places throughout the United States. And I would travel with a big group of guys. I would travel with 8 to 10 people with me and pay for their flights, hotel rooms, eating on the road. We used to have...
They were using, bro, because ain't no way he had a big circle like that.
Real big bills at the end of those trips.
The only thing that matters in the contract is the fully guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it be incentive-based and just fluff. Those are agents that, make this contract $220 million that's for the brand. What we as players see is the fully guaranteed. So it might be $200 million, but not for guys now, $110 million fully guaranteed. It's still a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So when I signed my contract, it was $120 million, $37 million fully guaranteed, or 34 or whatever. But that was in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2024. It's 20 years later. Salary caps don't went up. Inflation, business is growing around the league, and owners are getting richer, and you got to pay players a lot more. And so that's just the era we in now. And guys are fortunate. 10 years from now, the fully guarantees might be $200 million.
The number 1 player on the team, NIL he's gone. Like, how much money did he really make off his name that year before he entered the draft? So Cooper Flagg, I don't care what his NIL deal is, it's an NBA deal. He's waiting for the 50, 60 million for the league, the number 1 pick. So he's touching $100 million. You making $100,000, $200,000 in college, that is none of you. Everybody else, that's money too. So if they decided to say, well, if y'all gonna get paid, then y'all have to pay for y'all scholarships. That right there messes up everybody else.
But if you start paying kids based on performance, we always talk about how guys get benched or whatever if they contract year coming up or something.
Crazy.
You know how much they gonna mess up with the kids?
Contract. When you start here as a freshman, we're going to do your assessment test. At the midterm, we're going to do another assessment test. If you haven't gotten better, guess what you don't get?
That works for everybody else but the star.
This may sound corny, but nothing really, honestly.
That is true, because if everybody else is performing, I guess they are going to have to give a pay cut to the main star.
I think I was just so conservative just from the start, and my wife has been an amazing influence for me as well. That she went to Notre Dame as well, and she's definitely the smarter between the two of us. She would tell me just, hey, throw in the bank, save, and because we're in such a different category in terms of how we accumulate our wealth, and the fact that it comes all at once at such a young age, just relatively. So we just can't spend this money's gonna be coming just year in, year out, because it could end tomorrow. I mean, I can get injured and cut, whatever, and that money's not coming in. So I think we had a very conservative approach. Didn't buy a car until year 3, didn't buy a house until year 4. So I think just being slow, controlled, definitely spending way below your means, because our paychecks are like a heartbeat. Like, they keep on going up and up and up, and then we got to stay right in the middle, just stay right in between that, and just try to be smart about it. So that's been my approach. So I don't know.
You can get most things you want out of life, but it'll take 1 or 2 years longer than you expected. Be patient. And that patience is one of the most rare ingredients found in this modern world. Almost everybody I meet, and I see this on TikTok, people posting their journey to financial success. In January, I was working at McDonald's, having a hard life. In February, I quit. In March, I launched my business. In April, here I am, and they show all these videos of them in Dubai or in a private jet. A 4-month journey ain't a real journey, and nothing big comes from 4 months. In fact, if you look at the science, for example, of people who win the lottery, the average person who wins the lottery is dead broke again in 2 to 5 years. You see this in professional athletes, people who didn't grow up learning the fundamentals and the foundations of wealth. When you don't learn those 300 foundations, frameworks you could call them, the average pro athlete, like an NFL football player, they come from nothing, then all of a sudden, but they didn't learn the 300 frameworks of wealth, that those 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 million, the average NFL player is broke again in 2 years.
As an NFL player, this is how I've managed to build generational wealth for my family and I. So back in, I think, at the end of the 2020 football season, me and Kim were in New York or in New Jersey. The end of the 2020 season, I think it was, that first COVID year, bought a house back in Florida where I'm from, lived in it for a year, some minor renovations to it while we were there. And then the housing market blew up that first year and a half, 2 years. So we were able to, make an investment just on the equity alone. We put it in a HELOC. The HELOC I can get into later. But we moved to Texas. It wasn't until early last year, 2023, we were on the house search again, and we found a multifamily down in Tampa. So we purchased that last year. After that, we had to do different things to it to kind of fix it up before we put tenants in it. That took about 3 months until we were able to find tenants for that crib. Once we were able to find tenants for that crib, that's pretty much finding 2 houses, so that's 2 doors. And then so recently, the house we just moved from just found tenants in it. They're actually moving in today. So that makes our pretty much 3rd property that we have, but it's our 4th door, since that multifamily, like I said, is pretty much 2 doors. When me and Kim first met, we were pretty much on the same page with how we wanted to what we wanted our life and family and, businesses that we wanted to get into look like. So that obviously helps, because you got to be on the same page with your wife, or, As an NFL player, we have short careers, but you can get a lot of money in that short span of time. So it was always really important for me to make sure I use that money right, because I knew I wanted a family. Before I got this car, I made sure I bought real estate and invested my money first. Then in that turn, when I felt like I pretty much earned it, then I obviously got it for myself.
Like up the video, comment if you got something you want me to react to on the next video. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you on the next one.